So, good afternoon, everybody. It's the Infrastructure Services Committee meeting for 2026, the first one, 10th of February 2026 at 12:30. I'd just like to remind everybody that this meeting will be audio recorded and those in attendance should refrain from making any defamatory statements. There are to be no recordings of this meeting without the prior authorisation of the committee. So, do we have any applications for attending the meeting by video?
Madam Chair,
Any apologies?
there's no apologies,
Disclosures of interest?
none received,
Public participation?
none. Before we move on to business, Madam Chair, we have discussed that briefly outside this session about an earlier start time for this meeting in the future. It will require a change to the charter, so if that's something this committee wants to do, I recommend just getting something with the minutes this morning's meeting, so we put it up to council in February to adjust it. So I think what most people are looking for is an 11:30 start rather than 12:30, so bringing this forward 1 hour.
Are we happy to move?
Move that way, Madam Chair.
So councillor Coniston moved, seconded by councillor Ryan, all in favour? Yeah, so thank you. It's a fairly straightforward. Okay, so the first one is for OSC.02.1. It's the Infrastructure Services Water and Sewer. So Brian, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Take the report as read. The only thing I'll highlight is on the second page, there was a graph which shows the turbidity of the water and clean water dam. Just for everyone's information, we bought a probe. It's always good to have show and tell. We bought a probe which we lowered down into the dam at the offtake, and that allows us to pick up turbidity, temperature, and a range of other parameters. I've shown that on the graph in your report. This gets lowered down to about 25 metres, I think, 21 metres. Where it gets to the bottom, it probably dipped into the sediment. That's why the graph's a bit more significant, but principally the water turbidity was down to about 14 metres, which was really good. And the temperature profile also was pretty good in the dam. It's saying that it was about 25 degrees on the surface and it got cooler as it went down, so it's stratified. So it should be holding now for a while or for the foreseeable future. We're extracting water from the surface and all that water quality is currently under control.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just a question you probably may or may not know the answer to. So what is the level of water at the moment? What percentage of capacity do we have at the moment? Because at one point we're over 100%.
Yeah, they lower it as quickly as possible. Sometimes affecting our work. But I think we're about 95.
Perfect. It was under 40, which was quite stressful. So it's always nice to hear those numbers. Okay, is there anything else that someone would like to draw their attention to from this paper? Councillor Hill.
Chair, that's very encouraging, Brian. It's great to see. But just on the sewerage, I'm really concerned about our future with our sewage treatment plant. I mean, water's here and sewage, sewage is more important. I don't feel that the government are really lenient in helping us redo or upgrade our sewage treatment plant. So I'm really keen in the future to look at a long-term vision of what we're going to do if we don't get $50 million from government. In 10 years' time, we could find ourselves in big trouble. So I'm just opening that up for some maybe debate at a council meeting or for future reference, but I can't see the government being very sympathetic with us wanting 50 million.
Through Madam Chair, councillors, you had that briefing last year on the integrated water cycle management and the impact to fees and charges. That will come back to the council in March. I believe is the target date, so in March you'll get some further information from us. The unfortunate news is that you're right, the state government's probably not going to assist us in any way, which means that we need to look at the long-term funding solution through our fees and charges.
Just add to that, Madam Chair, I mean, first I'm going to make a mind up, we've got water, very important, and sewage. My heart says sewage is probably on top of the list at the moment.
I'd just like to ask the questions. With the new subdivision going there by Stratford, how is that going to impact our ability to provide sewage for the whole area? Do we know, is there, I mean, I've seen them putting pipeworks in, I'm assuming there was some kind of agreement with that, but where does that put us when you've got another 50 houses on the system.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Probably if Grant would put in more details, but to our knowledge, the sewerage is already at capacity and the drinking filter is probably 60 years old and the ballast box technology is probably 40 years plus old. So that's why it's very important because if we reach any of the EPA regulations in discharging poor quality water into sewerage water into the pre-water systems, then it's going to be a major compliance issue.
And it's my understanding that that was a significant project, that subdivision. That went to. We didn't, that was state significant. So what I'm just trying to bring to attention is that the state government has approved this project, but they won't assist us in providing sewage for that. That fair?
Yes, sorry, through the chair. State significant projects are like,
Well, it was.
projects,
It's
this
not state significant.
through the state.
It went to the state bank.
Which is a different thing.
Yes.
Yes, so there would have been some state influence. So just to, I guess reiterate what the director said. The treatment plant doesn't just immediately fail, it just progressively performs worse and worse and worse as you keep adding more loads. So at some stage, it will get to a stage where we no longer comply with our EPA license.
And my point is that we are having to support a system or a subdivision that has gone through state government channels to be approved. Yet we are providing services without assistance. That's
The current status, and we'll continue to ask the state government to contribute towards it, but yeah.
do I have a move up for that?
Moved.
Councillor Paulson, seconded Councillor Cloud, all in favour?
Aye.
Five ayes have it.
Just
Oh, sorry.
question, so,
Paulson.
through you to the Director of Infrastructure, the Murrurundi pipeline, the Kingdom Ponds Rocky Cut. I said we're going to repair that, excellent. What, if anything, have we been discussing with Transport in New South Wales when they, as they have indicated, they want to change the road alignment there? Is this going to impact on the pipeline?
I'll get Grant to answer that, thanks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The work that we're going to do, the council pipeline is going to be relocated after the works that Transport for New South Wales put in place. So any repair works we do are only going to be good for probably 2 years before that work occurs.
Yeah, thank you. And the other one was the decommissioning of the Murrurundi Dam. Obviously, that's proceeding. The Doughboy easement that's been approved at the last council meeting, that should just now go through. The Paradise Lane tank that's still there, that's sitting on about a quarter acre block, 900 plus square metres. There has been some expression of interest within the community, actually, how we might recycle that block and that facility. And I just alert you at this stage, I'll probably bring something to the next council meeting, rather than disposing of it, there might be a way that the community can actually repurpose that space. So just flag that.
So we need to vote on that now. All in favour?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move to ISC point two, is infrastructure services works delivery. Right, in chorus, Jane. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. So this report provides progress updates on the construction and maintenance activities. So council, the road maintenance, capital works and flood recovery programs are progressing well, with several key projects completed on time and within budget. The resealing, parks and facilities works continue to deliver tangible improvements. You can see the Idlewood Road, the section of Idlewood Road was completed in the last 2 months, and also the oval fence at Wilson Oval. And few maintenance, including the RV park in Millrose. And we are progressing well with the RNCC contract works on the highway. Flood recovery applications for the gravel package was submitted to the construction authority, and they have come up with some additional information which we have supplied now. But with the resource constraints within the team there, so these applications may not be looked in the recent future, the immediate recent future. Thank you very much, and happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair, Millrose Complex, so it's cleaned up. What's the future moving forward? Carrying on.
Well, there's a plan, a master plan developed, so we will be progressing along with the master plan.
So, through you, Madam Chair, again, may I suggest, I mean, if we're going to open this back up to RVs, I mean, we've got an air show that's 60 galleries coming up, the other side's going very shortly. Whether it's possible to open this up for visitors for the air show, number one. And number two, we do put a small charge on it, so we have control. Yeah,
Does that include the charge on the people who are living there permanently at the moment, or
well, they're all removed, yeah, I understand.
they're not? On
Does someone
there's
answer that?
still, there's
So
still,
through the chair, if we're going to be put a charge, you'll have to be advertised through our fees and charges, so it'll need to go to February council meeting. Advertised for 28 days, we may get a chance to adopt it at the March meeting, but more likely the April meeting, which means we'll probably miss the air show, capturing the air show attendance, so you may not be successful in getting the fee included for that particular event.
So, through you, Madam Chair, again, are they all left? The
No.
area?
I can tell you, I've done it every day, no. And I think it's also, Rag, if you'd like to just maybe like confirm this is correct, but because the river, actual causeway there is actually Crown land, it is not up to us, or we're not even able to clean that up, so they've been notified as far as I'm concerned, aware, but the place is still a bit of a mess because it's actually out of our jurisdiction. So it's not a simple clean up issue here, it's actually because you're dealing with different organisations. Is that, am I right on saying that, right?
Yes, Madam Chair, you're right. The creek is brownland area, so when we cleaned up outside, we noticed that there were a lot of rubbish, like gas bottles and trolleys and other general rubbish dumped in that area. We unfortunately couldn't clean that because it wasn't reachable due to the steepness of the slope, and we needed a long reach excavator for that. So we actually had to notify Crownland and we left it at that because it would cost us a lot otherwise. But again, looking at the site now with general cleaning, the question then would be, do we want to make it more attractive for campers to come in or more illegal campers to come in? And so that's a discussion we'll be having internally and bringing something.
And I think it's also just to note that the caravan was burnt by the people who were living in it. It's not how we got rid of it, correct? Yeah.
So, through you, Madam Chair, so it looks like the facility looks like it's cleaned up completely, that might be the photos telling a little different, is that correct? Yeah. Right, so when it transferred over to a road reserve,
Through Madam Chair, the council resolution was to convert it to a road reserve. I can't confirm this, so that's happened. I think there was a delay to that.
So, yes, it was a council resolution to convert it into the road reserve, however, we had presented it, so it's technically a facility at the moment, it's not a road and road reserve.
so my question, Madam Chair, is this was 3 years ago, why haven't we followed through and done by the resolution?
I think the people responsible were no longer working and it wasn't gone through, but I
Still
think
got a resolution,
But yeah, Mr. Mayor, you're right. We reduced the staffing numbers significantly. One of the staff that was responsible for following that through was one of the positions that we made redundant.
okay. So thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
Councillor.
Just from the community of Murrurundi, thank you for Wilson Day, it's really lifted the spirit in town. The only feedback I've had so far is people wondering when the cats are going to go on the posts.
Madam Chair, yes, that's the plan, we haven't fully finalized all the details yet, there's still some internal roads and, we're looking into the shared structure for stand as well, so when we look at, it comes from the same body, so it will be completed in the next couple of months.
Excellent. And the other thing too is on road repairs. Pages River Road, when it goes out to dirt, there was a big washaway. There's been a lot of pebble, rock put in there. One of the residents further upstream had 2 tyres blow out so far. The rocks that you're using are really sharp and they're just doing in tyres. So I'm just wondering if we can source different fill and something that might be a little bit softer around it.
Thank you, Councillor McGill. So we will probably take this on notice and we have to investigate and again. So we'll be looking at it. Thank you.
Give you a cloth and you can go out and polish them.
Put them through a tumble dryer.
Yes. That's
It's through Madam Chair, just with Councillor McGill with the Wilson Oval fencing, previously we did the number 1 oval at Merry War. I've taken a couple of comments on flood mitigation on that fence. They're very impressed with that fence. It looks wonderful, but the concerns that that fence will get knocked down the first time we have a flood through, as we know, there's a flood train made through. Just wondering what actions might have been taken there to mitigate that sort of problem in the future.
Thank you, Councillor, not yours. Yeah, please. So, yeah, look, Madam Chair, look, we understand there is a drawing or more crossing there, we can do that. And it's no different to any other structures that are on the flood zone. If there's a natural disaster, we usually get the, money from the reconstruction authority to replace like the like. And, the challenge, though, we acknowledge that if there's any debris coming through, that might, block the, or the fence might block the debris and it might even get washed out, but this is going to be rectified using emergency works or, any, reconstruction authority funding if it's a natural disaster.
Would it not be expedient to be in front of that? And because sometimes our funding there is difficult to chase up and the like, if we could have maybe a fire point in that fence that might relieve some of those damaging issues, is that something we probably should be looking at to reduce the damage potential there?
Yeah, thank you, through Madam Chair. Yes, we can look at it, but it depends on how much rain we are getting and how much water flow is coming along that way. And this fence is, so it has a lot of gaps in it, so most of the time the water will flow through. And in an adverse situation, we will have some appropriate plans to rectify the situation immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just another quick one on roads. The 60 sign out on Yankee Road, before Christmas. I have an update on what that's doing there.
The police are enjoying it.
Blue lights are just loving it. And it's probably one of the best part of the road. If I can get an update sometime, please.
Sure, that's, because of that's not because of any council works, it's because of the development happening, there, so we will have to take this on notice.
No, I think it's the one.
But further out on Yankee Road, out here, Red Bridge.
Is it releasing?
Yes.
Yeah, there was some research to be done, and Laura is working on that section.
Yeah, so just add to that, I mean, these people that are selling this mix that's leaking in hot weather. And those 3 signs have been there now for 4 months. And it's double the merit points when there's no need, can you investigate it?
Anything nice to say?
Got meetings are all about.
Councillor.
Through the chair, I have a question with regard to the grading schedule. I'll just note that it indicates that the highlighted items in yellow haven't been completed yet. It's a timing issue, but I'm just wondering at what point, because I note that a number of those roads have actually been graded.
No, it says they, if they're in yellow, they have been completed.
Yellow is that.
Yellow is the ones that are completed, right? So there are a number there that aren't highlighted, which I know have been completed. So I'm just wondering Up to what date, I guess is my question. So this might be a couple of weeks out of date. The request was for the grading schedule and the road classification schedule to be forwarded to the Rural Roads Committee. If I could ask if that happens before the next meeting, that would be great. But I just wanted to clarify, because if that timing is out of date, it might be just a little bit misleading. I expect that, you know, it may be up to a month out that, I don't know.
So, Madam Chair, thanks, Councillor Ryan, for the questions. So if I can refer you to note 1 and 2, the note one says the other is completed, so it's clarified. The other one is it says the priority will be given to R1 and R2 roads, because as per the asset management plan, currently R3 and R4 are only as required as programmed. Now, in our grading schedule, we have programmed a lot of these roads, R1, R2, R3, and even R4 roads. However, going back to the budget constraints and the KPIs noted in the table 1 in the report, we are currently at 75% maintenance work. So we are ahead of our maintenance schedule overall, and we've exhausted 75% of the funding for the year. And that's why we're monitoring our budgets carefully and only undertaking works for R3 and R4 roads, or even R1 and R2. We will grade, but R3 and R4 will be monitored if there's any issues or safety requirements, then we will grade it. Otherwise, we will have to monitor the budgets and undertake these works.
Yeah, with that, it's a.
But I think you might be underselling yourself a little bit, because I'll just use an example. I see this way to do it. I know because it's my road. Flight Springs Road has been graded, yet this report says that it hasn't. So I think that's my point.
I think
I think you're underselling yourself.
they're under promising and over delivering, which is like.
Yeah, but if you've actually done something, let people know. Just with regard to the road priority or classification, I stand corrected here, but I understood that may be being reviewed, the actual classification. That's my point. So I guess I'm really just asking where that's at and what that process is.
Sure, thanks for that, Councillor Ryan. So the chair, so the classification has been reviewed internally for all this time, whereas when we program the roads, we program it based on the current road classification, which we have, at the assets level, and also comparing to the asset management plans that's been adopted by council. So that's how the program is being done. However, because we have rural roads advisory committee now, it will be good practice to get the road classification reviews through them and get the council adopted. That way we don't have to justify or try to justify to the customers every time on what it is and how it is, rather than be a council approval.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, could I move it, please? Councillor Ryan, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Clapp. All in favour? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. So we move to ISC.02. Strategic and capital works update. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I assume that all have read the report, so just some highlights. We are actually on that, and we are ahead of what we have forecasted for the financial year. So the project progress, we've completed close to 17 projects so far, and we actually are working or progressing well in terms of our flood works programs and RMCC contract. In the last month, we have also completed the reseals for rural and regional roads. The urban roads are still progressing, and hopefully will be completed by March. And in terms of the flood works betterment, like the pipes and causeways, we have completed multiple sites, but there's still a bit more work to be done in completing that project before the end of the financial year. And again, we have requested for the reconstruction money for the last year's two major natural disaster events. And once we get that, we're expecting we will get around $6 to $7 million, so there'll be a lot of road maintenance and road grading programs that we following through in the next financial year. Thank you.
Any questions? Councillor Hill.
Yeah, thank you. In the detailed capital works expenditure listing of line 157, the Burning Mountain Rail Memorial, I can report that the temporary fencing has been taken down, and congratulations to the Murrurundi Parks and Gardens crew for the landscaping they've done there. It looks absolutely fabulous. The last thing to go now will be some grass and some solar lighting, and that project then will be finished, ready to go. But at this stage, it's open, it's there, and it looks great. The other one too, at line 158, the horse troughs of Murrurundi, they've been repaired. The whole town wants you to put barbed wire and place it around with bright shiny lights. We need to think about something, whether it gets a curb around it or something to stop idiots from running into it again, because I'm sure the general manager's patience with repairing that trough will run very thin very quickly.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I was just wondering, through you, Madam Chair, how the library relocation is going and stuff.
Yeah, very good, Madam Chair. The Director of Environment and Communities managing that, so he's not here, so I'll sort of give you a quick update. The main piece of work we're doing at the moment is compliance work, so we need to get that northern wall fire rated. Once that's done, we can do a transfer of the library. We're still very tight on funds, so we're trying to get that compliance work done at the lowest cost as quick as we can. Probably get Mr. Pringle will give you a further update next time he's in council.
Councillor Livingston.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. Just a comment on running the budget on all of these projects. We're doing an exceptional job, I have to say, of running to budget and under budget on a lot of these capital works. So I just want to congratulate those involved with that. I do have just a little question there on the Glenmore Dam pipe encasement. That budgeted figure there, is that the revised budgeted figure once we've had that photo? So that's, it's actually up in the former table. Over the grants and capital works delivery spreadsheet.
Sorry, Madam Chair, thanks, Councillor Livingston, for the question. The Glenmore and pipeline encasement, as you are aware, we actually reported back to council that due to the natural disaster, we had to, the New South Wales Water had to open the tunnel and discharge water, which gives all of our formwork and steel work where either be washed away or and was damaged as well. So the original budget was probably close to $1 million, and but we came back to council asking for more funds, and that should be the revised budget in there. And yeah, we have slightly exceeded the budget in that regard because it was a forecasted budget at that point in time. Yeah.
No, that's what I thought might be the case. I just want a clarification. Thank you, Director.
And that's completed.
Yes.
Madam Chair, just a comment on Councillor Williamson's response to the budget. You're correct. We're very close, and in fact, we're ahead of the capital works program by about $2 million. The downside of that is it will be reported in the corporate services committee that we were over budget because we're actually accelerating programs. So for those councillors that are here on Friday for the corporate services to see that we're over budget by about $2 million, it's predominantly due to the fact that we're ahead of schedule. Doesn't mean that we'll end up at the end of the year being $2 million over budget. Just means we spent that money earlier than we anticipated.
And I might say also those in attendance at the corporate service.
Yeah.
Have a year up.
What a lovely compliment. Yeah. Okay, so I have a move, please. Thank you, Councillor Cloud, seconded Councillor Collison, all in favour? I will pass. Okay, so I see, unfortunately Jeff Bush isn't here for the final report on this. Brad, would you like to bring us up to speed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is going to be the last report on my recovery economy. The works 100% complete and within the budget and the highest quality. We actually will open the road to traffic on the 22nd of December, just before Christmas. And we've been monitoring it ever since, and it's been very good. No defects or damages identified in that section. Now, just to highlight, during the project construction phase, there was a total of 2,280 kilometers of rainfall recorded in that location. And that led to the extension of time by 80.5 days. The works that are currently running, the last, close out activities, is some fencing work, some boundary adjustments. The official opening is currently proposed to be on the 13th of March. The asset capitalization works and also the monitoring for any defects during the defect liability period as well. And we'll be also undertaking some general maintenance activities and cleaning the drains and stuff like that through the next few months. So this project, started in 2019 when the grant started up here, like 2019, and it's gone for like 6.5 to 7 years now. And it's been a fantastic outcome. Thanks to all the stakeholders, all the staff, and the community for their patience as well. And happy to take any questions. Thanks.
Yeah, questions, Director. Are we counting traffic volumes at this stage, or we just open it and walk away?
Can what's right?
Traffic volume.
So the traffic volumes, we actually had from when the road was previously open, and we assume that it has changed, but we haven't taken an official traffic volume count yet. It might have changed by 10%, but usually the traffic volume in main road 348 is 350 vehicles per day.
And as to the opening, I thought that it happened. If I can lend you some scissors, I've got some available.
Just like to say the majority of us weren't even here when this all started, but it's been like the monkey on all our backs, so it's just lovely that it's done. And I think we have to say a big thanks to Greg McDonald and also with our mayor who've just been knocking on doors to get funding. And it's just so good that it's done, and we can say goodbye to this this report that we've been looking at every single month for years. So well done to everybody. Thank you. Anyone like to move that report? Councillor Clouds, second Councillor Colston, all in favour?
Aye.
Yeah, the ayes have it. ISC.02.5, Castless Sewerage System Project Update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll go through a couple of the points on page 3, which is the summary of the progress. We had an information session at Castles on the 9th of December. There was about 15 people there. It was much smaller than the first consultation period. Principally, it was about talking to the community about where the sewer pump station was going to be located. There was a fair bit of angst in the first meeting about that, and we resolved that it was going to be where it was designed. There's been some other work on voluntary deeds. There's a valuer that's been engaged and is going to look at the evaluation of easements, whether we use that or whether we elect not to is yet to be determined. There's a bit of value engineering in the design, principally around, this is a review of the design, principally around the reticulation system. That's the critical path to get this delivered, and we are looking to tender that in the next few months. In fact, it might even be a month. The tender of the reticulation system is our priority, resolving estimates, resolving other bits and pieces within that township. That's probably all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else to add? Then we'll move that. Thank you, Councillor Clout, seconded. Councillor Ryan, all in favour? The ayes have it. Thank you. Once again, councillors. So, ISC.02.6, the footbridge project update.
Madam Chair, our new project manager, Jovan, go through this report for us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
This is the first report for the Castless Footbridge project. And President everyone has had a chance to read through the report. I'll just provide a brief overview of the project. The project is a community requirement that aligns with the Community Strategic Plan 2035 and aims to provide improved pedestrian access and safety for the local residents. It's been funded through the Legacy Infrastructure Fund by Energy Go. We received a funding of 1.38 million for the same. The reporting for the project is planned for through the IEC and the CAG Medeva Committee. And a dedicated web page has been created for the project also for the community to get updates. A project control group has been set up for the project for monthly reporting as well as to take key decisions. The project is still in the early phases at the moment. We want to take in community consultation through the Cassilis District Development Group, and we're finalizing the concept design. As soon as the concept design is finalized, we plan to put the design and construct tender for the same within one month, 1 months. And we hope to get it to council resolution and about the tender in the coming 3 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Any questions? No, so rather be called, yes, Councillor McKellar.
I understand the road bridge is getting a bit close to end of life, and it just seems strange to be building a pedestrian bridge and not considering the two. Is that the case? Is it coming, the road bridge, the vehicle bridge coming to end of life?
To Madam Chair, yes, that the technical asset line of that to the actual bridge is 100 years, and however, it doesn't mean that the bridge will be a condition that it has to be, demolished. So there's still 10 years remaining in this actual asset life, but we will probably look at how we can extend the life or look at grant funding to reconstruct the bridge. But in saying that, this bridge, as you can see, is actually at a gap and not tied on to the other bridge. So we make sure that if that big bridge gets demolished in the next 20 years or so, or 10 to 20 years, it doesn't impact this footbridge. So yeah, we've designed and modeled the bridge in such a way that it doesn't have any impact on the original bridge.
I do understand, Councillor Bill, your query. It is an extravagant bridge, whereas if this is what Castle's was, then I'm assuming that it's what Castle's is.
You need big bollards for motorbikes and e-bikes.
Well, I get to choose between the either one, yes.
Yeah.
I can move on. Right. Councillor Cloud. Second, the Councillor Ryan, all in favour?
Aye.
Then we just received the report from our approval. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this meeting. It's 1:07. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for all the great work that this team does, because this is basically the heart and soul of what